Hello and welcome to the ITU World Triathlon San Diego. My name is JT Lyons. I am the Age Group Race Director, and we're going to have a course briefing to kind of go over some of the details of the course and help you to become a better prepared athlete for the race on Saturday. So the ITU World Triathlon San Diego is part of an 8-race series. This is the only stop in North America, but you can see that this is a race that's among a prestigious line on the waiting list. Water quality is looking great, and this briefing is really about helping you be more prepared for the race. You want to make sure that you understand the course route, the closure times, waves, etc., and are ready to go on race day. The general overview of the course, there's going to be an Olympic distance race for the age groupers. That's a 1.5K swim, 40K bike, and a 10K run. And the sprint distance triathlon will be a 750-meter swim, 25K bike, and a 5K run. Just a slightly longer bike than the typical sprint distance. That's just how the course worked out. The swim is at the Bonita Cove for the elite athletes and Ventura Cove for the age group athletes, which are both kind of coves within the larger body of water called Mission Bay here in San Diego. The bike is going through the neighborhoods of Mission Bay, Pacific Beach, and La Jolla, and then the run is on South Mission Bay along the boardwalk and the Bayside Walk in South Mission. The expo is going to be on Thursday and Friday, May 10th. The elite women's race will happen Friday afternoon. The men's elite race will happen Saturday afternoon, and the age group race is Saturday morning. We are expecting a full field for the elite racers of 75 women, 75 men for each of their respective events, and for the age group triathletes we have approximately 2,500 athletes entered. Some important dates and times to keep in mind when coming in to register for the event and making sure that you're ready for race day. We have packet pickup starting on Thursday, May 10th at 1 p.m. till 6 p.m. There is going to be a mandatory bike check-in from 12 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Friday, May the 11th. Everyone's going to have to leave their bikes in the transition area. We have a limited parking situation at the venue, and if we drop our bikes off the day before, then we don't have any issues with people trying to get bikes on the buses. Packet pickup is available from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday as well. There will be an expo with lots of vendors and sponsors, and there's also a beer garden that will be open on Friday from 1 to 5 p.m. We expect many spectators to come down and watch the women's elite race Friday at 2:30. Special note, the Sunrunner lot is basically the remote parking lot where there will be shuttle buses running from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Where you can park your car, ride your bike to the expo, and then take the shuttle back to the remote parking lot. Will make it a lot easier to get in and out of the area and save you a lot of hassle. That's our recommended way of getting to and from the venue. Saturday, May the 12th, we also have the Sunrunner lot. Is going to be opening at 3:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. There's going to be 7 buses running to try and get everyone there on time before the Olympic age group event starts at 6:15. The first wave goes off. We will be closing the transition area at about 6:05, so everybody needs to be into the transition area, rack their equipment, make sure everything's all settled, and then exit the transition area before we completely clear the transition area before the first wave goes off for the Olympic age group athletes. The expo will be continuing on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then the beer garden is also the all-important beer garden from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Some further details for the Olympic age group race on Saturday the 12th. Again, the Sunrunner lot is the remote parking lot, which is essentially just off the SeaWorld Drive exit and the I-5 freeway in San Diego. Last shuttle is going to be parting from the Transition Expo area back to the Sunrunner lot to drop people off at their cars at 6 p.m. The transition area is going to open at 4:15 a.m. before the race, and it will close at 6:05 a.m. The entire transition area must be cleared before we can start the race. We expect there will be swimmers in the water for the age group Olympic course from about 6:15 is when the first wave goes off, and we expect the last swimmers of the final wave to be finishing at around 8:15 a.m. There will be athletes out on the bike course from about 6:35 a.m. Those fastest swimmers in the first wave will hit the bike about 6:35, and they are going to get off. The slowest cyclist in the last wave will probably exit the bike course around 10 a.m. The run course, the fastest runners of the first few waves will probably enter the run portion of the course about 7:35 and exit about 11:30 a.m. The transition, once you've completed your race, the transition will not be open immediately, but starts to open at 8:30 a.m. so that you can go and pick up your stuff and go home for the day, or just pack it away and come back to watch the elite race in the afternoon. And then there'll also be the Olympic age group award ceremony. It's going to be at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday as well. For the sprint race, which is also on Saturday, May the 12th, the transition area is open. The parking lot is open at the same time. The transition area is going to be open at 6:45, so a little bit later, hopefully encouraging those sprint athletes to sleep in just a little bit so that they get there slightly after the age group Olympic athletes. We want to reserve those early spots on the bus for the Olympic athletes because they need to get their early start. The transition area for the sprint will also close at 8:35, so it needs to be completely cleared before the 8:45 start. There'll be a 10-minute gap. Everybody has to be out of the transition area before we start the sprint distance race. The swim, the bike, and the run, you can see there are the times for when people will kind of enter the course and exit the course, and that includes all waves. Those finish times are estimates. The transition reopen bike checkout. All bikes must be out by noon. That's when we'll start tearing down the transition area to turn it back over to the city. And then the award ceremony will, for the sprint athletes, is going to commence at 12:30 p.m. Here's just kind of a bird's eye view of what the expo area is going to look like. It's on the corner of West Mission Bay Drive there and Mission Boulevard. This is the expo. This is parking that is going to be reserved for local residents and beachgoers. We had to make an arrangement with the city to leave this parking available for non-participants and spectators so that we don't completely shut down the beach here in San Diego. There's a lot of local businesses that would appreciate our patronage, and so please, if you can, take advantage of some of the wonderful businesses down there and sample their wares. Now, a quick overview on the actual course. For the age group Olympic swim course, the swim will be in a in a clockwise direction. This is Ventura Cove here, which is adjacent to the Bahia Hotel. The host hotel is the Bahia. It was actually stationed right here. This road along this way is West Mission Bay Drive. That's be the road that the bikes exit on. Transition area here is just adjacent to the swim start. So you're going to swim out. The first yellow buoy is going to be on your left shoulder, and then all the other buoys will be on your right shoulder coming into the finish. It's a 1,500-meter swim, flat, calm water in San Diego Bay. Mission Bay. And also, not shown on this map, there actually will be a small line of buoys in between here that'll be a warm-up line so that you can go and swim out in there and essentially to stay clear of the swim course. These other buoys in between, the large yellow buoys, are really for just sighting. If you swim to the inside or the outside of them, it doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that that first buoy you make on your left shoulder, and all of the subsequent buoys, the next three, you're going to make on a turn with the buoy on your right shoulder. So that is the age group Olympic swim course. Now for the age group sprint course is essentially the same idea as the age group Olympic, just a little bit abbreviated. It's about half the distance, 750-meter swim. You're going to swim out and you're going to make a right turn on the two yellow buoys and then swim back in. Pretty straightforward. nice, calm water. The water quality is looking excellent right now. Should be a great day for a swim. This is kind of a bird's eye view of the entire bike course. The Olympic and the sprint bike course are essentially the same, only difference being the Olympic athletes, as they start from transition down here, we're going to go up on Ingram, take Riviera, Haynes, to Reed Street, up Mission Boulevard, to Little Hoya Scenic Drive. This is where the hill starts, right in here. That's your aid station on the bike. It's kind of flattened out at this point, but still a little bit of an incline up for the turn, and then this is the large, fast downhill. We'll have volunteers stationed down here to slow you down. The course does get much tighter, so we're going to definitely have to slow you down and make sure that you're very alert coming into this hard left turn. There's a couple little jogs to keep you out of the busiest city streets and on the nicer roads, and then we come back here and we actually take the course all the way back down to Reed Street. For the Olympic distance race, you will be repeating this loop and traveling back up to the top of Mount Soledad, all the way back down around the loop, and then on your second loop, you will return on Reed Street to Haynes, Riviera, Ingram, West Mission Bay Drive. The sprint course is essentially the same route, except you'll only be making one loop of the course. To go over some of the details of the course, after you exit the transition area, you'll be on West Mission Bay Drive. You'll be but going eastbound, and then you will be making a left-hand turn onto essentially what is typically an on-ramp. You'll be using as an off-ramp to get onto Ingram Street, slightly elevated bridge. It'll be a little bit tight through here, as will be two-way bike traffic, which is really reserved generally just for one-way car traffic, but should be plenty of room to get everybody through there safely. As we go up Ingram, the bikes are going to be on the southbound side of the road. There'll be two-way bike traffic on the southbound side of the road, and there will be two-way car traffic on the northbound side of the road. At Riviera Drive, the athletes will be making it left, with the athletes staying on the bay side of the road. Cars will be coming out of their driveways. There's homes along Riviera Drive, and so there's many driveways along the course. They'll be able to come out of their driveway and make a right. It'll be one-way traffic only for them, and there'll be a coned-off separation there. And several volunteers stationed along the course to try and make sure that the cars don't make a wrong turn. The athletes are going to progress up Haynes Street, again, with two-way bike traffic. This two-way bike traffic is going to be in the middle of the road where there will be car traffic on the outside. Car traffic northbound will be in the curb lane, and then in southbound it'll be in the opposite curb lane. So there'll be bike traffic, two-way bike traffic up the middle of the course. At Reed Street, we'll be making a left turn, and same thing, in order to keep the residents from being trapped in their homes, they will be able to come out of their driveway, make a right turn to exit the course onto the next available block. There will be occasional crossings on Reed Street and Haynes, so keep yourself alert. The San Diego traffic controllers and police officers will definitely do their best to keep the roads closed and the participants flowing in a nice steady pace without having to hesitate for cars, but occasionally a disgruntled driver sneaks through, so always stay alert while you're on the course. Make sure that above all you stay safe, and be aware of your fellow competitors as well. There's going to be different speeds on the course, some faster competitors, some slower competitors. Make sure you're staying to the right of the road unless you're passing, and certainly before you pass anyone, make sure to take a look over your shoulder and confirm that there's nobody overtaking you at the same time you make a change in your direction. So from Reed Street, we are going to be taking that. So we'll be traveling on Reed Street westbound until we hit Mission Boulevard. As a note, this is also where the athletes will be coming back to make the U-turn to do their second lap on the Olympic distance race. So there's going to be two-way bike traffic on Reed Street, and then you're going to be going northbound on Mission Boulevard. this is a little detail of kind of how the cone layout and the car traffic. It's a little bit messy here, but you can kind of see how as you're coming south, there's going to be 2 bike lanes, and it's going to split up into the lane that's going to make a U-turn and the lane that's going to stay to the outside and return back to the start. So just be aware of that as you're coming back on Reed Street. To be ready for a U-turn, we're going to have to come to almost a complete stop, but a very slow U-turn in order to make that turn safely. From Mission Boulevard, you're going to continue north onto, which turns into La Jolla Mesa Drive. As we cross Colima Street, this is where the road starts to go up and where the hill starts to become a little bit more noticeable. This actually ends up being a fairly steep hill. Portions would reach over 10% grade. Essentially, the worst of the hill ends right about La Jolla Scenic Drive, where you make a right onto La Jolla Scenic Drive. There's still a little bit of a rise in the road, but the steepest part is done, and this star here represents where the bike aid station will be. The bike aid station is only going to have bottled water. There'll be no other supplies up there, but do take advantage if you feel like you need some hydration. We do recommend you take the appropriate water and nutrition for you on the bike. So they're going to make the trek up the hill, continue up the hill on La Jolla Scenic Drive until you reach Nautilus, which is essentially where you will make a left-hand turn and you start the descent to the bottom of the hill. Nautilus is a fast descent. Some of the fastest athletes in the race will probably reach over 40 miles an hour. We do ask that you are very careful on this descent. This is going to have car traffic, one-way car traffic on either side of the bikes. It should be a fairly wide lane, but it's absolutely imperative that you stay to the right. There's always going to be someone faster that's coming from behind you, so please do stay to the right unless you're passing, and make sure to look over your shoulder and check to make sure it's clear before passing. Just very important to be safe going down this hill. As we come into the bottom of Nautilus, there is a median, and the bicycles will be merged over to the right-hand side of the road. There will be a volunteer station along Nautilus to slow the bike traffic down and to basically warn you coming into the corner here at La Jolla Boulevard, which is a very sharp left-hand turn. If you take this turn full speed, you'll not make it. So definitely be cautious as you take this turn onto La Jolla Boulevard. Going to travel south on La Jolla Boulevard, which is a fairly wide road. Some nice big pine trees lining the road there. At La Jolla Boulevard, you will make a left-hand turn on La Cañada, a quick right on the La Jolla Hermosa, another quick left on Camino de la Costa, and then a quick right on La Jolla Hermosa Avenue as well. And let's go back and look at that. So from La Jolla Hermosa Avenue, you are going to continue back to Colima, where you will rejoin the loop and then continue down to Reed Street for the U-turn. The run course, age group distance run course, is going to be starting from the transition area. You will exit and basically run along the path of Mission Bay, and you will be encircling the neighborhood of South Mission Beach all the way along the path here. Our first aid station is directly outside of the transition area. The second aid station will be just as you pass the finish line and the elite transition area. Running along the path, it'll be a very scenic run along the water, and then right along the boardwalk, and then we'll hit your last aid station just before you get onto the boardwalk on the beach side. Please be cognizant of all the locals and the other beach patrons that will be on the course. They will have a coned off lane for them to walk in, but they will be crossing occasionally. We will have volunteers stationed along the course to try and make sure that the crossings are not interfering with the runners. But try to be polite. They've been kind enough to let us use the course, and we want to respect their privacy as well. As you cross over to San Fernando, You're going to run up the street on San Fernando. You'll be crossing car traffic there, which will be controlled by San Diego traffic controllers. And then you're going to take the northbound lane of Mission Boulevard until you get back up to the corner of West Mission Bay Drive, where you will rejoin the walking path and come back down. Now for the Olympic athletes, they will be doing 2 laps of this course before they come into the finish area. The sprint athletes will do a single lap, come in and finish at the finish line. This is what the finish line area is going to look like. The expo is over in this area. The run actually will come in through here. You'll run down this path, and then there'll be a finish line chute to get you into the finish. This is the same finish that the elite athletes will be using on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon. Thanks for your time, and hope to have a good race out there. Be safe, stay to the right, no drafting. Have a good time, go fast. Take care.